Yeah, that's a tough act to follow. So I was only going to do a multi-enterprise demo with webhooks being received on loan changes for both borrowers and lenders, but they stole my thunder. So I'm just going to type in a few commands. So my name is Jeff Collins, SVP of Engineering at Ellie Mae, and we are happy to be here at FinDEVr because it's kind of a celebration for our team. Our team recently launched what we're calling the Encompass lending platform. And so for those of you who don't know or aren't familiar with Ellie Mae, how many of you know what loan origination software does? Okay, that's half of the audience. If you are a lender and you have loan origination software, what you're trying to make is a loan object through a manufacturing process, and the only way you make money is if that loan can actually be sold or serviced to get money back. So in order to do that, you need software that makes the loan compliant and can pass all the regulations and actually is saleable value. And that's what Encompass does. We launched that in 2004. Since 2004, Ellie Mae's Encompass product has grown to 200,000 users across thousands of lenders. And people tell me internally at Ellie Mae a stat like 30% of mortgages given of mortgages in the United States every year go through an Ellie Mae Encompass platform. So that's a big financial proposition for the mortgage industry. What we've done here today, and this is kind of what we wanted to celebrate, was we've turned this into a platform with open APIs. Because the one thing Ellie Mae can't do is we've grown really well, we solved a lot of problems, but now it's time to look for innovation and excitement and new opportunities for partners outside of our own walls. Because whenever we make improvements to Encompass, what we know is that the borrower experience gets better. What do you think the average time to close a US residential loan is still today? How many days?
45.
He knows it's 45, and it used to be 90 or 75. It's ridiculous. That makes zero sense, right? You can go and get a car for the same price as a house and walk off the lot with the car. And so what loan origination software seeks to do and Encompass seeks to do is make that go down to 9 days, 10 days. And what we need to do is build new value and new kind of innovation and ideas on top of that. So our idea is to build a platform and then build apps on top of it. So when we think about that, what I'm going to do is just show you the developer platform. So the team that built the developer platform put a lot of effort into making this an easy-to-use experience. And it shouldn't surprise anybody to know that there is a loan entity. And the loan entity is the heart and soul of the system. It is the thing that the lender is trying to make that makes them money. The loan object can have thousands of fields associated with it. And so what you're seeing here is a developer portal that helps you get onboarded to our set of REST APIs. And all of this is Swagger-based documentation. But what's cool is the team took a lot of time and energy into actually making this interactive. So before you even sit down to try and write code, you can just start the try it button right from within the documentation because you're given a sandbox with loan data in it. In fact, so much so that the team gave you a sample payload to use in any of these try it fields. So I can throw a loan object into this field that's the create loan post, say try it, let it spin away in the background, and it will create that loan, and the metadata in the response tells me what loan that is. I can see here that I've gotten this loan. Great, so now I can go back to get loan and then say, okay, I want to see the details of that loan. Let's try that. Well, I found it, and so it says 200 metadata response, and you see that here's the loan object. Notice that I haven't fought with authentication or tokens or anything. It's all handled for me, and it's all set up by this developer portal working against the sandbox that you have access to when you come join our network. So that's not complicated enough. That's way too easy. So let's look at another thing. So you can see that in here there's documents, there's attachments, something called the pipeline, which gives you a query API for loans that match certain criteria. And then there's webhooks. Well, that's pretty cool. What does that do? Well, what we might want to do is create a subscription. And so if I create a subscription for a webhook, what I would be doing is causing a callback to be sent over HTTPS to some remote service, and I happen to have one. I've got a test service for webhooks that's put out there just by a monitoring company for synthetic monitoring. So you can make your call go to it without any other work. This is great. The team showed me how to do this. I found this so awesome. So if I go put in that URL and say try it, then now I have, and if I go look at get subscriptions and then try it, you're going to see that I have subscription ID down here, and it knows that it's going to this URL. Now, that's cool. Let's go over and create another loan. And I'm going to use that same payload again. It's still stuck in there. And I create that payload, hit that. And let's go back to our little request bin app. So that was a little test program. I ran that from the terminal. You see fizz equals buzz there. So if I hit the reload button on this thing, well, look at that. The Encompass loan lending platform sends a notification of a loan create as a webhook to the remote service, which allows our customers who are lenders to integrate into their data warehouse. They can integrate into other services in their enterprise, because at the end of the day, we are the system that makes the object that makes money for the lender, but that integrates into a whole bunch of other workflows, including things like loan servicing, because once that loan is ready to go, they may want to actually start asking for payments from the customer. So that's kind of a walkthrough of the basics of the developer portal. You can see that the team invested a ton in just making this an awesome walk-up experience for someone who's trying to get started coding against our platform for the first time. Everybody knows how to get the OAuth stuff going and all that stuff, but that takes you time. You got to go code it up, and even if you're expert at this with Google API and you go try to apply it, you have to translate it over. Imagine if you walk up to an API and get started in about 5 minutes, you're already understanding some of the basics of what the interaction model is, especially the webhooks, which is kind of fun. So I'm talking a lot about a developer platform as an ecosystem, but that's inclusive of our partners, our vendors, and even our customers, because our customers are going to use this exact functionality to integrate their own systems. But it also includes Ellie Mae. And we want to build our applications on the exact same set of APIs, because that produces high-quality APIs for the developers. If we don't like them, we're going to fix them. So I'm going to show you an application that we're creating today. This is not Ellie Mae's brand. This is your logo brand. And that's because we're offering a product called Consumer Connect, which on top of your loan origination system gives a highly customizable borrower portal that allows your borrowers to walk up and, based on some recommendation from their realtor or seeking the best price for the loan, apply for their loan. And using that channel, you can get more leads that way. And they'll initially qualify themselves. This will include asset verification with Plaid and others. And it will include some compliance checks to make sure that this loan will be compliant when it's sold, and then even a check of their credit. So when you look at this, you can see that this is just a portal page, and it has an apply now. And all of this is built on the same set of APIs. Some of them aren't launched quite yet. Some of them aren't quite launched yet, in the sense that the CMS API under this, which is yet another set of APIs, is underlying everything we do in this application. But this is a TurboTax-like experience that helps the user answer really high-level questions. And every time they get to a stopping point or they abandon, that data is captured, and that could be a lead. And you can follow up and get that person to come to your lender and get the loan. So alternatively, you can also see what happens when I go in. And again, all on the same open set of APIs on the platform. I am the borrower that submitted this loan, and I get told, okay, yeah, we agree. Your credit looks good. Let's just finish up the loan. And so we'll go in here and we'll have a to-do list set up for the borrower. Interestingly, in the platform that I talked about with all the APIs, it's all the same APIs. It's the same loan API, but this time it's the borrower logged into the app, and it's operating in the borrower identity persona. And the borrower can only do certain things, like what are my loans, and can I offer a document or check a box? So in this part of the application, the borrower is directed to finish their loan so that they can do that automatically without any other interaction. Again, you're just looking for efficiencies and easy-to-use ways for the borrower to be successful quickly. So then we've talked about this website. What is this website? Let's actually get logged into the admin. Okay, and so you can see from the lender's standpoint, here's a bunch of incomplete apps. So now I can go follow up on these apps, go close these leads, and actually get this business. So it's a huge business aid to have this kind of consumer touch point with the internet borrower, because I can increase my business. Now, if you go down to the website builder, and we actually flip this to the site that we saw, you can see that it's going to open up in a website builder that's totally part of Consumer Connect. There's no third-party product here or anything like that. And if I go to widgets, and I drag a video over here, and then I go pick up like Star Wars music from here and go put it into my, that's the problem with tabs and browsers, guys. All right. And then if I publish that, it's going to regenerate all the site. So it's going to end up causing the site to launch all of its pages again to S3. And then if I go to it again, and then I reload this after a few seconds, CloudFront has got all this stuff in it. So it takes a few seconds for CloudFront to decache. And then there's your, so now I've changed my customer experience. So now I want to do one more thing. That's us using our application. But what gets interesting is, what about you using our platform to develop new innovative applications? We want people to be able to add new value by building applications that help make value for yourself, but also value for the borrower to make an easier experience, or the lender. So I'll show you an example. What if you're a loan officer and you're trying to close business? And you're trying to figure out who to talk to? Alexa, what time is it?
It's 11:38 a.m.
Alexa, volume 5. Alexa, where are we?
I can't find the answer to the question I heard.
Okay. Alexa, Loan Officer Connect.
Jeff Collins, you are now logged into Encompass Loan Officer Connect. What do you like to know?
Alexa, what rate lock expirations are happening this week?
The Harville loan has rate lock expirations for this week.
What rate lock expirations are happening this month?
The Harville, Smith, and Adams loans have rate lock expirations for this month.
What is the current program and rate on the Smith loan?
The Smith loan has a 30-year fixed with a 4.2% APR.
Run product and pricing for a better rate on the Smith loan.
Rosewood Lending has a 30-year fixed mortgage with a 4.00% APR.
Thank you.
You have been logged out from Encompass Loan Officer Connect.
Awesome. So you've now seen a multi-enterprise voice-enabled demo for both a borrower and a lender persona. So it was that complicated. But the key point being is that we want to create a platform that has open APIs to foster innovation from any of a number of different partners. Today, we have just announced it last week, and it's open to customers. And the reason is our customers customize, they want a unique experience for Encompass no matter what they're doing. Every lender is going to be different. But what we see coming this year is releasing all of the APIs and functionality you saw today in a way that vendors of any kind, independent software vendors, credit vendors. I saw a asset verification and identity vendor here today. Anybody can plug into this platform and become part of the ecosystem. The goal being that by working together with Ellie Mae and those of you working with us on the platform, simple goal, make borrowers' lives easier and lower the pain for them to get more people into houses. Okay, take questions. How much does the platform cost? That's a great question. So we have a fixed minimum charge, and that's just to protect ourselves from a revenue standpoint for if a lender isn't doing much business. But most of our revenue comes from what's called success-based pricing. You close a loan, we get part of that loan revenue. So most of our lenders are on that, and it runs the range, but it's in the $100 a loan range, but it varies. What API events get pushed out for the webhook? Is every event guaranteed to be sent and appear real time? Okay, so it's not in real time, it's near real time, but the events that are getting pushed out right now are loan events, and the loan events are just the beginning. We want to push out contact change events. We want to push out milestone events, like a loan has crossed a threshold. I want to put out rate lock as an event, because all of those are business significant, and over the next year, you're going to see us add a ton of those, because then you can notify all kinds of different systems, including doing pop-up notifications in your own UI. So we're going to be adding lots and lots of webhooks over time. Does one have to pay to get access to the dev portal? We do not have our formal vendor program started yet. Some models out there, like at Salesforce, have that kind of pay model. We are not sure we're going to follow that model, and we don't have an answer yet. Look for that at the summer timeframe. We're going to have more details on how to get in as a vendor. Does this go through all mortgage steps from beginning to end? Well, okay, so it depends on what you think of mortgage steps. There are mortgage steps like securitization and servicing and things like that Ellie Mae doesn't do. But in terms of origination, from the moment that someone calls you and says, hey, can you lend me some money to buy a house, all the way to a valued asset, Ellie Mae software does that.